Hey guys, Humble back again. Welcome to my 8 weeks review of the Galaxy S23. If you're new here, I'm trying out a new camera setup today. So I'm going to start off with the pros, then I'll talk about the cons, and at the end of the video, I will let you know who this phone is for. So in terms of the good stuff, with the S23, you're looking at a sleek and compact design. I switch back and forth with the A54 and the S23 on a daily basis, and I really do appreciate the built-in feel of the S23. It just has a much more premium feel if you're holding it in your hands compared to the A54. I mean, it is double the cost, but you can tell that the material is better. Just touching all the glass, the metal, and just how it feels in your hand, it's very sturdy, and I believe it is worth the cost. The S23 is super comfortable to hold with one hand, so you are a big compact phone fan, this will be the perfect fit for you. In addition to it being compact, it is super fast and powerful as well. It is equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is the best chip so far for Android in 2023 in the first half of the year. Gaming is a breeze, web surfing is fine, you can do multitasking, you can use Samsung DeX, which allows you to connect your S23 to a monitor and use that as a computer screen if you want a desktop mode. I personally don't use it that much, but the option is there for those who do want it. I currently have a laptop setup with a triple monitor. When I try using Samsung DeX, I believe you can only use one screen, so the laptop setup is already easy and I have that going for me. But if you're ever in a situation where you just have your phone and a random monitor, you can connect your phone and have a desktop setup that way. But keep in mind you would need a wireless keyboard and a mouse just to optimize the whole experience. There are people who can make that setup work, but it is personally not for me. But regardless, Samsung is equipped with all these random features, some of which you may never use, but some is there if you really want to optimize the full potential of the phone. And even though it has a super fast and powerful chip, it does get warm every now and then. I noticed that when I'm watching YouTube for 2 to 3 hours straight. Even though I'm not really watching it, I just have my phone in my pocket and audio playing, whether it's music or random motivational videos. The phone does get a little warm. It's never to the point that it's concerning, but just a heads up, it can heat up here and there. But unlike the S22 last year though, I noticed that phone gets super hot just under normal usage. So you're not going to see that with the S23, just super powerful, super efficient chip with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. With S23, you're also seeing a really reliable camera as well. Samsung has always been known for their great cameras in the past, and this one is no different. If you're taking faraway photos, videos look great as well. It's really hard to capture a bad photo that is far away. Close-up photos, however, is another issue that I'm going to jump into later when I talk about the cons of this phone. Best thing about this phone is the battery life. I average anywhere from 12 to 13 hours under normal usage, and 3 to 4 hours of screen on time. The battery is bigger than last year. It is 3900 milliamp compared to the 3700 milliamp on the S22. And fun fact, in the S20, that phone was equipped with a 3880 milliamp battery. So they give it, and then they take away, and then they give it back. One year they make the battery bigger, next year they make the battery smaller, and then it's big again, and they call it a whole new phone, hoping that people don't really notice. But I notice. And keep in mind when you're reading and watching other reviews out there, people tell you they have 1 day battery life with this phone or 2 days battery life. It is really subjective depending on how you use your phone, so you need to dig a little bit deeper into what that actually means. So if I don't touch my phone for 2 days, I'm sure it will still have battery and you can call it a 2-day battery life. Or if I have another main phone and I use this phone as a secondary phone every now and then, maybe normal for some people, but I assume it's not going to be normal for most. And if you constantly use your phone to watch YouTube for 8 hours straight and don't move, then you're going to get 8 to 9 hours of screen on time, and that's pretty much all you're going to get with the phone. But in general, if you use the phone normally, you wake up, you go to work, you text here and there, do a little bit of gaming, watch a random YouTube videos. If you're driving, you may have your GPS on, got Bluetooth music playing in the background, whether you're in a car or running around, just normal things like that. It all averaged out to about 12 to 13 hours for me. So you start your work at 9, you end at 5, that's 8-hour shift. It will last you 4 to 5 hours after that. So technically, it's good enough to last you to bedtime depending on when you start using your phone. So in that sense, you do get a whole day battery life in terms of a full day of work and more. Just remember that either you have a longer all day battery life or you have a longer screen on time. You can't have both at the same time. I have managed to achieve both scenarios depending on how I use my phone. So it's all really subjective. And if you go into the phone setting and you see the screen on time, based on how it is calculated, you can play around with the numbers and it can be deceiving as well. So by default, the way that Samsung captures screen on time, it is from the last time you charge it to 100%. So in theory, if you are charging your phone and you never let it hit 0%, and at the same time you charge it up to 99% and never let it hit 100, it's just going to keep on calculating that forever. So it will show you have 1 or 2 days of battery life, 9 to 10 hours of screen on time. So whenever people say they have 8 to 9 hours of screen on time, you pretty much have to ask them how are they charging their phone. But the true test is to charge it up to 100%, let it drain all the way down to 5 or 0%, and then capture it that way. And that's how usually I do my battery tests. And after all my usage, I get 12 to 13 hours and 3 to 4 hours of screen on time, because that's typically how I use my phone. I don't stare at it for 8 hours straight, because it's a busy life, people got things to do. And another benefit of the S23 is the 5 years of guaranteed security updates, and that is better than what Google have to offer. The owner of Android is only offering 4 years of security updates, so that's why you are paying a little bit of premium on the Samsung side. It is $800 list price compared to, I believe, $600 in the Google Pixel 7. So you do get what you pay for in a sense. Colors wise, I love the lavender on the S23. Most people like the basic black and white. I personally enjoy more options, playful colors that is more bright and colorful. The lavender is perfect for me. Big fan of the color choices. It is nothing groundbreaking, but just slightly different. And one thing I do want to point out is the back of the phone is no longer a fingerprint magnet. For so many years since the S6, they have used a glass back and it looks awful the minute you touch it. If you have a case on it, that's fine, but if you use your phone without a case like me, you're gonna notice that there's always smudges on the back of those glass back, such as the S6, S7, 8, 9, 10, 20. It wasn't until the S21 that Samsung switched to a plastic phone that they no longer had the fingerprint issue. But people were complaining, they rioted, and then Samsung had to switch back to premium materials. Now they found a way to reduce the fingerprint smudges in the back, which is an awesome design choice and something that I do appreciate. It's been a smooth sailing just in terms of design choice. And now let's jump into the bad things about this phone. 128GB is a little bit light by 2023 standard, but at the same time it all depends how much you use your phone. If you do a lot of 4K video recording, you may want to consider bumping it up there. But not everyone needs the 256GB model, so just assess how often you actually use your phone and your camera, and depending on how many apps you download and things like that. But when I pre-ordered my S23, I actually got the 256GB model at the $800 list price, which is a great deal. And Samsung phone and Android phone in general tend to go on sale pretty often. And even today, you can get it for a pretty good deal on Amazon. At the time of the recording, it is going for $760, which is $40 off the list price, and you get the 256GB model. Or if you prefer the lower storage model at 128GB, it is $700. So it is $100 off there. So great deals are always around. I did include the links in the description, so you guys are interested, feel free to click on that, and you do buy it. It does help the channel. I'm always on the lookout for great deals. Just tracking the Samsung phone. I know at the time of pre-order, they always tend to incentivize you with all these trade-in, gifts, storage upgrade and things like that, but throughout the year they do have random sales like this on Amazon or even on the Samsung website. So even though in theory 128GB is low for the list price, but they always go on sale so often that it might be a moot point depending on when you buy your phone. Fast charging, it only goes up to 25 watt, which is slower than the big brothers, but honestly I don't think it's that bad. You can charge it 0 to 50% in half an hour, which is more than enough. In general, you get a day of battery life on this phone, so if you can find 15 to 30 minutes in your day, just plug it in while you're eating, brushing your teeth, or I don't know, prepping lunch. That will last you enough through the day. I don't think it's that bad. And I have used OnePlus phones in the past where I get 100 to 120 watt fast charging, plug it in for 10 minutes or so, and that'll get me through the rest of the day. But in general, the Samsung phone battery life is so good that you don't really need the 100 watt fast charging, although it would have been nice to be a little bit faster. And when you're taking photos and recording videos, the zoom, you can only get to 10x, whereas the Pixel 7 Pro and the S23 Ultra, you can get to 30x. And then anything beyond that starts to look fuzzy. I don't really mind it though. I don't really find myself in the situation where I need to zoom in that much on particular subjects, and worst case scenario, you can just walk close to the subject, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Get some steps in. But just a minor limitation there compared to the bigger brothers, you can zoom in more. And one new thing I do want to point out, since the April update, I noticed that I have been getting more connection issues that I wasn't getting in my first couple months of using this phone. And this happened to me twice while I was driving. My music would just completely stop playing. I would switch between podcasts, YouTube, and other different apps just to make sure that it wasn't just one particular app. For some reason, my connection would just completely drop in the middle of my drive, and then I had to restart my phone, then everything works again. At first I thought I might have run out of data or something, but I do have the Max plan with the Magenta Max plan with T-Mobile, so I think I should have unlimited data. Though unlimited data is always subjective as well. Sometimes it is not truly unlimited. You're capped off at 50 gigs or something depending on what plan you have. But anyways, restarting the phone, everything works just fine, so I don't think it is a data cap issue. And this happened to me twice. And if I'm at home, it's fine. It's a quick restart here and there, but it wouldn't be an issue. But while I'm driving, I got my GPS on, I have my music on, and if you restart your phone, you have to manually enter your password. You can't just use a fingerprint, so you don't want all these distractions while you're driving. And it is a little bit of a nuisance that I do want to point out. Hopefully it's not a recurring issue. We'll see if they fix it by the May update. I'm not sure it is a widespread issue, but I have personally experienced it twice, and I saw someone complain about it in the Reddit thread at least one time as well. So just keep an eye out on that. And finally, to address the elephant in the room, if you take close-up photos with the S23, you will notice that the edges are blurry. It might be the shape of the banana. If you look up Banana Gate S23 on Reddit and anywhere on the internet, you can see all kind of photos about this. I have done videos on this before in the past. So you notice that close-up photos, the edge is going to be blurry, the main area in the middle will be fine, but I don't know, the blurriness might be shaped like a banana and is super annoying. Sometimes when you're trying to take pictures of receipt or close-up text, you may notice that the edges are out of focus. It is a hardware issue, so nothing we can really do at this point. You can try using the 3x telephoto camera and hold your phone further away for better receipt pictures. But in terms of photo quality, it is kind of definitely a downside of this phone, and pretty disappointing to say. Samsung have always had great cameras, but for them to push out a phone with this issue is definitely concerning. I don't think there's anything they can do to fix it with the S23, so you gotta wait till the S24 for that. But just be aware of that. If you do take a lot of close-up photos of food, macro photos, receipts and things like that, just be aware that it is an ongoing issue depending on devices. I have personally experienced it on mine, and there are many people out there who have as well. So that is the biggest issue that I would say that I have with the S23. Another thing, which is kind of a moot point at this point, is a lack of micro SD. It works perfectly on my S20, which I still have today. They offer it on the A54 as well. I don't really see why they removed it. I mean, I can see why. They can argue that apps work better on the phone, the flash storage compared to the external SD card, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. It works great on my S20. It gives me extra option to store videos and photos, and if you buy any camera out there, they all use micro SD or SD cards in general, and they all work just fine. I'm pretty sure Samsung can find a way to make it work. I don't notice any slowdown or anything like that impact me on a day-to-day basis. I doubt they're gonna bring it back anytime soon, but one can only hope. But I see why they got rid of it. I mean, they can make a case for all the technical argument, but I think it's just for them, gives them an opportunity to sell you the storage upgrade. You pay more to get the higher upgrade, or in random promotion cases, like when they first release a phone or just random sales, they can just say, oh, you get higher storage for the base price. So it's just another marketing technique in my opinion. I honestly think it's just one less component for them to handle and order. Everyone's always hearing about supply chain issues these days, so always random stuff, one less part to handle. I mean, pretty sure these things cost pennies, but if they don't need to manage it, then they won't. And I know in the A series, people are a little bit more conscious about the price and features. So they do try to give some more options there in the mid-range phone, unfortunately, and leave it out on the S series. I guess I assume people who go for the S series, they have money. If they want more storage, they can pay more storage. Compared to the A series, people are more budget conscious. So I think that is Samsung's reasoning behind that. Alright, so who is the S23 for? This is for people who don't want to spend $1,000 on a big phone like the S20 Plus or the Ultra. It is for people who prefer a compact phone that's easy to use with one hand. I love having the large display, but at the same time, it's super cumbersome to hold. You always need two hands to use it. S23, it is so easy to take in and out of your pocket, and it's just very comfortable and easy to manage, and it has plenty of power as well. As much as I enjoy using the Ultra phone, it is a lot to deal with. When you're reaching the top, you have to really stretch your hand, you gotta move your phone, you gotta move your fingers around doing finger gymnastic. It is really a pain to handle the bigger phones, and if you're pretty active, you go running, you have basketball shorts, it just, when you're sitting down, the phone falls off easier. So there's many benefits to having a big phone and small phone. So if you're looking for a small phone, the S23 is the way to go. And if you enjoy Samsung UI in general, there are loaded features such as DeX, the million camera options that they have. You can play around with all the Bitmoji and all that AR doodle stuff. You can zoom in while you're recording. There's so many options with the S23, which costs $800. Well, right now it's $700. Compared to the Google Pixel 7 at $600, you do get more features. You get longer software support. So I can see why Samsung do charge a higher premium for these S series. You get a super reliable, fast and snappy phone. There's never any issues of lagging or anything like that. I'm currently recording this phone on my S23 using the video portrait mode. So excellent video quality under good lighting, as you can see. But yeah, there you have it. Please check out my daily vlog series on the S23 if you haven't already. I make videos every single day, whether it's on this phone or another phone. But I try to be consistent with that so you can have an idea of what it is like to use this phone on a normal day usage. Not everyone is out there torturing, testing these phones for 9 hours straight. That's not how people use their phone. I personally walk through how I use my phone, and you guys can see how it impacts my battery life, performance, and everything like that. So just make sure to join me on my journey. I'm probably going to cover this phone for a few more weeks until the Pixel 7a come out, and then I might switch over to that. It's been a fun experience so far, but let me know if you want additional coverage with this. I can keep going. And yeah, let me know what your experience has been so far with the Galaxy S23. If there's any problems or questions you have, just leave them in the comment below. And if you do not have it, let me know if you do plan on getting it. Once again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys find this review to be helpful, and see you in the next video.